prospecting and how to close more deals are the two most common elements I deal with every single day. And so what I often do is I'll jump onto their calls with them, and I'll be a consultant or a colleague just so I can listen in. Or if they're a bigger company, they'll already have pre-recorded software so I can listen to the phone calls and hear what they're saying. And most people are just rushing through the process. It's a very common problem in sales, Andy. They rush through the process, maybe ask one question, and then start trying to sell the product. And they'll try alternative closes, trial closes, and then they get nervous when it comes to negotiation. That's not how you do sales. It's not how you do business. Okay, you have to follow a sales process. So stop closing deals and start opening deals and engaging with clients. That's the first thing I would say to anybody, because it's so important.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that makes perfect sense. But what advice would you give to those sales people, like at the front line, let's call them, that are getting the pressure from above, from sales leadership saying you need to start closing, otherwise you're going to be furloughed, or otherwise there's going to be problems. Like it's a tough market out there at the moment. People are under a lot of pressure. How do you shift mindset? How do you manage up from the ground? Or how do you instill that within the sales leadership to make them know, hey, you know, this is more of a long-term strategy rather than just some quick wins we can maybe get over the line?
If you go to your boss and you say, look, this isn't how we should be doing things, you're going to sadly find yourself losing out on a lot of opportunities in the company. That is how corporate life works. I don't think it should work that way. I think bosses should be more open to feedback from staff. And I believe that all bosses shouldn't believe this is the one way how we should do things, because I see a lot of egos coming into play. And, you know, I've been in positions myself where I've said to my boss, why are we making 60 phone calls a day? This is ridiculous. It's meaningless. Clients are better than this. And I've actually worked in companies where I've not made 60 phone calls a day, but I made 25 to 30 really good quality. You know, I've actually made proper conversations with clients and set up meetings. But if you go to a boss saying, I'm going to change things, bosses don't like that. They don't appreciate it. And sadly, they'll give you a hard time in most cases. So what you got to do is lead by example. So what I recommend is, if you're going to make the 60 phone calls a day, believe it or not, if your boss sees you booking more meetings, if the bosses see you having a bigger pipeline, and they eventually see you generating more revenue, they don't really care if you make 60 phone calls, 50 phone calls. They really don't care. All they really care about is you hitting your target, because that's what protects their job. And ultimately, sadly, most sales directors just care about their job, their bonuses. There's ego at play. There's management opportunities for them in the future. And they know if they hit their target, they're going to get that. So really, you have to lead by example. Arguing with management and challenging them, sadly, in most cases, is not going to work.